Who is Meghan Markle? Hi, this is Gary, your friendly neighbourhood psychologist, psychotherapist, looking at who is Meghan Markle. So this week we are completing a look at her own history. The beginning of her acting career, her first marriage to Trevor, her divorce from Trevor, not a pretty story from my point of view, already said that, and of course her meeting and marriage to Harry. So from 2004 to 2005, she taught calligraphy, bookbinding and gift wrapping at the upscale stationery retailer Paper Source in Beverly Hills while auditioning for roles. Now, this is interesting because nowhere does it talk about her studying calligraphy, although she used the calligraphy in one of her film roles. Now, bookbinding, she taught bookbinding, but where did she learn bookbinding? Gift wrapping, okay, that's something you could sort of pick up. It's not that complicated, but bookbinding is somewhere between an art and a science. It's very technical. So where did she learn these things? And this is something that interests me, just like her mother, who taught jewellery making and things like that. It's that I don't know if they studied these from books or where they have learned these crafts, but to go to the point where you are teaching a subject in which there is absolutely no history of them actually learning this subject in any formal way fascinates me. Now, perhaps it's just the incredible intelligence of these two women, but it fascinates me they are capable of working in these businesses and teaching despite not having any formal training in these subjects. Maybe they did. If they did, and you know, please let me know. Then, between 2006 and 2011, she worked as a freelance calligrapher and had some small acting roles. And in 2004, she meets Trevor Engelson, who we'll talk about quite soon because she married him. The next chapter is her marriage to him, and further along, he also appears as one of Meghan's men. So we'll definitely talk about that in the future. So, after that, between 2004 and 2010, she worked as an actress. She also carried on doing this bookbinding and calligraphy and stuff to keep working and to earn some money. And not surprisingly, one of her first jobs was in the series General Hospital in 2002, even before she graduated, where I'm sure she had lots of contacts from her childhood and knew people. So it wasn't so unlikely that she got a small part there. It wasn't that complicated for her, who was also graduating in acting. Over the next decade, she had numerous minor TV appearances. Century City in 2004, The War at Home, 2006, CSI New York, 2006 also, Deal or No Deal, 2006-2007 as one of the briefcase models. In Beverly Hills 90210 in 2008, she appeared in 2 episodes. Knight Rider 2009, to Without a Trace 2009, Fringe also in 2009 in 2 episodes. In The League 2009 and 2010, she appeared in several episodes as Megan, a bartender. CSI Miami 2010, also she had some supporting roles in a couple of films, some of which were actually produced by her husband at the time, but only a few. Then in 2011 she got a breakthrough in Suits, which is at the same time that she actually got married to Trevor Engelson in Jamaica. Now it's really interesting, this marriage, because what it says is that they had a marriage over multiple days in Jamaica. So it was a big deal. According to my good friend Google, Meghan Markle and Trevor Engelson were married at the Jamaica Inn in Ocho Rio, Jamaica on August 16, 2011. The ceremony was a 4-day event with a beachfront celebration that included local traditions and activities for the guests. Obviously, the Jamaica Inn is a luxury hotel. Did they fly people over? More than likely. Did they invite their guests to stay at the Jamaica Inn? I would guess so. It must have cost an awful lot of money. And what I have understood, and people can argue with me, people can prove me right and wrong, I'm very open to being proven either way, is that her father paid for it. Now, if you remember, he'd won the $750,000, around $2 million in today's value. It's totally possible that he did have the cash to be able to pay for such an extraordinarily expensive. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know more details about the wedding, how much it cost, who paid for it. Let me know. I'll edit it, or at least I'll correct it in the book. So we'll see how it goes like that. Now, this is interesting. After she started filming in Toronto in suits, she volunteered regularly at the St. Felix Centre's soup kitchen. And it says here, during the whole period, from 2011 to 2017, she volunteered at the soup kitchen as part of the community meal service, and she also donated leftover food from the soup set. And on one Thanksgiving, she brought all the food, including turkeys and the trimmings, the full meal setup for over 100 people served by the St. Felix. Also, it seems she undertook volunteer work incognito. Meghan volunteered wearing casual clothes and even a baseball cap to remain low-key. People have shared previously unseen photos from her volunteering here. Now, that's something that's interesting. It's really important. That's something to be aware of, because it's really, I don't know how much is publicity, but when you're supposed to be incognito, there's not much publicity there. For me, it means something. In May 2014, she launched a lifestyle blog, The Tick, which she kept for a couple of years into 2017. So that was 3 years. It must have been quite successful. Also, in 2014, she served as a counsellor on the One Young World Summit in Dublin, advocating for gender equality and human rights. Well, that's a fact. She did it. In 2015, when she was 34, she addressed the UN's Women's Conference in Beijing, again on gender equality, and again in 2016. She served as a global ambassador for World Vision Canada, and she participated in Rwanda's Clean Water campaign and raising awareness in menstrual health in India. Now, after that, she started to get mixed up with the time meeting Prince Harry, and then after that, she gets involved with royal responsibilities and the charity work she does. Well, what she does. I don't know what value that is, because some might be part of who she is as a person. It might also be part of what's expected her to be the consort whatever, and the fiancé of Prince Harry, whom she met in July 2016. They got engaged in 2017 officially, and they got married in May 2018. So that's basically it. Now, of course, around this 2018, 19, 20, after that she steps back from royal duties. She stops her engagements. In September 2020, she signed a Netflix deal under the Archwell Productions name. It's interesting she uses that name. In 2022 is the Netflix docu-series Harry and Meghan, and she launched the Archwell podcast. Archwell podcast refers to Archetypes, a podcast hosted by Meghan under the Archwell audio production banner. The podcast, which ran for a single season from August 2022, featured Meghan interviewing various women about stereotypes that hold women back. The partnership with Spotify ended in 2023 after only one season. Then in 2024, she launches the American Riviera Orchard, which was renamed in February 2025 as Ever. And then there's been these awful problems with Netflix. Well, not forgetting also, in around and just before and just after the wedding, there is this story with her father and the photos and the publicity and the paparazzi. And then there's that supposed heart attack. I say supposed, we'll talk about that later. And then there's the letter stuff and the falling out. Now, all that I'll talk about in a later moment, because I think it's really worth discussing. I have my own conspiracy theory about that, so there you go. So, that's a quick resume of who Meghan is, how she came to be who she is, a little bit, and the next chapter is her first marriage. So, that's the end of the third episode. I hope you found it interesting. I certainly did. Please like, subscribe, write a comment, hit the bell, so you'll be informed when the next episode comes available, which will be on next Monday. Look after yourselves. Bye for now, Gary.